1963, rural Turkey. A man decides to renovate his house and knocks down a wall in the basement. Behind it, there's no dirt. There's a corridor. And the corridor goes down. And down. And down, for 18 floors carved into the rock, 85 meters deep. He had found an entire city beneath his own home, and nobody knew it existed. This is the Mystery Archive, Derinkuyu, the underground city of Cappadocia. Who dug it, how they dug it, who they were hiding from, and the engineering detail that still impresses scientists today. Open the file with me. First, the setting, because it explains half the mystery. Cappadocia, in central Turkey, is a landscape from another planet, valleys of soft volcanic rock, carved by wind into towers and chimneys. This rock, called tuff, has a rare property: it's soft to dig, and it hardens on contact with air. So the entire region is a geological invitation. Anyone with a pick and patience can carve out a home. But Derinkuyu isn't a home. It's a metropolis. Here's the inventory of what lies below, mapped by archaeologists: stables for animals on the first level. Wine and oil presses. Communal kitchens with ovens. Grain storage. A school with vaulted rooms. A cross-shaped chapel. Water wells independent from the surface. And room for an estimated 20,000 people. 20,000 people. Living in the dark, dozens of meters underground, for weeks or months. And for that to work, problem number one isn't food or water. It's air. And here's the genius that makes modern engineers take off their hats. Derinkuyu has more than 50 ventilation shafts, some 55 meters deep, that create natural circulation, warm air rises, cool air sinks, and the whole city breathes on its own. No machines. No electricity. The deepest levels, 85 meters down, still have fresh air today. The defenses are even more impressive. Scattered through the corridors are circular stone doors weighing half a ton, shaped like discs, that roll on carved tracks, and can only be opened or closed from the inside. Each level could be sealed off independently. The corridors between levels are narrow and low on purpose. An invader would have to advance crouched, in single file, in total darkness, while defenders waited around every corner. Derinkuyu isn't a hiding place. It's an 18-floor trap. And here's the detail that multiplies the mystery: Derinkuyu isn't alone. A tunnel nearly 10 kilometers long connects it to Cappadocia, another underground city. And Cappadocia has more than 200 mapped underground complexes, dozens with 3 or more levels. An entire civilization beneath the ground. So who dug it? The honest answer is that nobody knows for sure, because carved rock leaves no date. There's no carbon to measure, no foundation inscription. What archaeologists have are layers of use. The most accepted hypothesis, the Phrygians, an Iron Age people, began the first chambers around the 8th century BC, almost 3,000 years ago. Some researchers bet even deeper in time, the Hittites, 1,500 years before that. The oldest layers are the deepest, and the least explored. What's certain is who expanded it: early Christian communities, fleeing persecution, first from the Roman Empire, then from waves of Arab raids between the 7th and 10th centuries. The chapels, the frescoes, and the records of the time confirm it. When cavalry appeared on the horizon, entire villages went down, and Cappadocia vanished from the map. Picture the scene from the invader's side. You arrive in a region that should hold thousands of people. The houses are empty. The animals, gone. The fields, abandoned. No sign of flight down the roads. An entire army searching for a people, who are literally beneath their boots, breathing in silence behind half-ton doors. The scoreboard of facts. Confirmed, the city exists, the 18 levels, the capacity for thousands, the genius ventilation, the defensive doors, the documented Christian use, the network of connected cities. Still open, who started digging, when exactly, and, the question that keeps me up at night, why someone needed something this extreme in the very first version. Because expanding an inherited shelter is one thing. The original decision, let's live underground, is another. What threat makes an entire people look at the ground and decide it's safer to go down? Wars explain the Christians. But the fear of the first diggers, that was buried with them. The name itself tells the story. Derinkuyu in Turkish means literally deep well. The modern village on the surface got that name from the mysterious wells nobody knew the bottom of, centuries living alongside holes in the ground, never imagining they were the chimneys of a metropolis beneath their feet. And there's an ancient written record that changes the debate. The Greek general Xenophon, writing around 400 BC, describes people of Anatolia living in homes dug underground, with entrances through wells, storing grain and animals. 24 centuries ago, the underground cities of the region already existed and already amazed travelers. The daily details fascinate archaeologists. Lighting came from linseed oil lamps, which, besides light, gave heat. The internal temperature stays stable year-round, cool in summer, mild in winter. That's why the storage worked so well. Derinkuyu was, among other things, a giant refrigerator. And the defense had a final layer of genius. The water wells did not connect to the surface. They were fed by underground aquifers, unreachable from above, so an invader couldn't poison the city's water. Whoever designed this planned for a long siege, and thought like a military engineer. After 1963, archaeologists opened Derinkuyu to the public. Today you can visit 8 levels, and Cappadocia's underground cities became a World Heritage Site. But researchers estimate only a fraction of the complex has been explored. The lower levels remain sealed by collapses, and what lies behind them, nobody knows. And Cappadocia keeps giving up secrets. In 2014, during housing construction in the nearby city of Nevşehir, workers found another underground city, and early assessments suggest it may be even larger than Derinkuyu. The ground of this region still has unpublished chapters. My verdict for this file: Derinkuyu isn't a mystery of who, it's a mystery of scale. Each generation dug a little deeper, stacking 3,000 years of fear into 18 floors. It's the greatest monument ever built to humanity's oldest instinct: when danger comes, dig. Let's talk about the sheer effort involved. To carve out a city this size by hand, using only stone tools and picks made of antler and iron, would take generations of continuous labor. This wasn't a weekend project. It was a multi-century inheritance, passed from parents to children, each adding another room, another shaft, another sealed door, a public works project that outlasted entire empires above ground. And consider the logistics of a siege. When thousands of people descended into Derinkuyu, they didn't just need air and water. They needed to feed animals, grind grain, press oil, cook, worship, bury their dead, and keep children calm, all in total darkness, for weeks. The city had a space for every one of those needs. It wasn't an emergency bunker. It was a fully functioning civilization with a roof of solid rock. The religious spaces are especially haunting. Archaeologists found cross-shaped chapels and baptismal areas deep underground, carved with the same care as a surface church. Imagine holding a service by oil lamp light, dozens of meters down, singing quietly so the sound wouldn't carry to the enemy searching above. Faith didn't stop underground. If anything, it went deeper, literally. There's also the question of the missing rubble. Excavating a city this size produces millions of tons of crushed rock. There are no obvious mountains of debris around the site. The leading theory: the material was spread across the fields and used in surface buildings over centuries, so slowly that the landscape itself swallowed the evidence. The city didn't just hide its people. It hid the proof of its own construction. Today, Derinkuyu draws hundreds of thousands of tourists a year. The tour descends 8 levels through tight corridors, and guides love to switch off the lights for 10 seconds so visitors can feel what life was like, total darkness, and the sound of your own breathing bouncing back from the walls. Most people can't handle 30 seconds. 20,000 people handled months. And one last number to grasp the scale. Researchers estimate Derinkuyu alone has more than 600 hidden access points scattered through the courtyards, stables and homes of the modern village above. The city on top and the city below are stitched into each other. Even now, a local occasionally finds a new passage during a home renovation. In Derinkuyu, discovering a new room in your house is literal, and the room might be 3,000 years old. It's worth dismantling the wild theories too, because they get in the way. No, aliens didn't carve Derinkuyu. Every tool mark on those walls is human, made with iron picks and antler tools, and archaeologists have found the tools themselves. The soft volcanic rock made it possible for ordinary people with extraordinary patience. The answer humans did this is less glamorous than gods did it, and infinitely more impressive. Because think about what it really means. A people we picture as simple villagers planned a project spanning 1,000 years, engineered natural ventilation that still works, designed half-ton rolling doors that lock from the inside, and hid an entire population underground so completely that armies marched right over them. No blueprints. No modern tools. Just brains, stone, and a fear so deep it drove them into the earth. And you? Would you go down the 85 meters? And what do you think is behind the sealed levels? Leave it in the comments. Subscribe and hit the bell, a new mystery every single day, and a full file like this one every week. The archive never really closes.